Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Tech Skill Builder. In last session we have learned the states. What is the use of state? What is the use of props? In this session we are going to learn another important concept called hooks. So what are hooks and when to use which hooks? So hooks are a special function that let you hook into React features like states, lifecycle and context, but inside a functional component, not in class component. They were introduced in React 16.8 and are fully supported in React Native, making your code cleaner, more modular and easier to maintain. They replace the need for class component and lifecycle methods like component did mount. These are the few hooks and their uses. So use state, use effect, use context, use reducer, use memo, use callback and use ref. So usually we use state, use effect, use context, use refs. Okay. So when to use state? If suppose we want to store any form input and toggle buttons, counters, in that case we can go for the use state. Use effect is to perform API calls, adding and removing timers. Use context is to access global data across the component. Okay, for example, theme, login details, language setting, etc. So we'll see one by one uh, through the example. Okay, so to under in React, useState is a hook that let you add state to the functional component. It holds value temporarily for that particular component. For example, this is the syntax const state variable and this is a function set state function and equal to useState, and we need to pass here initial value. So what is the state variable? It store the current state value. Okay, for example, counter having initial current value is current value whatever the we have specified, that will be the current value. For example, initial value is a current value, that will be 0. Set state function, it updates the state. For example, if we have increased the counter by 1, this function we will use counter plus 1, so it update the state. And what is the initial value? Sets the starting value for that particular state. This is a simple application that counters increase when button is clicked. Okay, so this is the state variable count and set count. Initial value is a 0, and here on the button click, what we are doing? Set count. I mean, this by using these functions we are increasing the count. Okay, every time the button is clicked, the set count plus 1 updates the value and triggering the re-render, so that new count is displayed on the UI. What happen if suppose we will not the state variable? If suppose we have taken the late count and we are increasing on press, count is equal to count plus 1, it will increase the value of that count variable, but it will not reflect in UI. So why? That we will see later. Okay. So the core difference between the React state and the normal variable that we are talking about now. So React is designed to re-render component when state changes, not just any variable. Okay. So why useState works? Because it's a part of React states management system. When you update its via set state, React knows to re-render the component. Okay. Why normal variable don't work? A normal variable like late count is equal to 0 is just a local variable. React doesn't track the changes to it. So updating count plus plus changes the value internally, but doesn't inform React to render the UI. So what we have seen, normal variable, if suppose even if suppose we are increasing the value or decreasing the value, it will change internally, but it will not inform React to re-render the UI so that we can display the counter value on the screen to the user. So for that, useState is useful. Okay. So let's see how to implement the useState hook in our program. Let's try to create one file, use state hook dot tsx. Okay, let's create import sorry, import react from react. Okay, and then import few components like import view, okay, button and text. Okay, sorry, what happened? Button. Okay, why we are importing from here? It should import from the React Native. Okay, this component should react. Okay, and then text. Okay, so let's create a component const use state hook. Okay, return your view here. So view, inside view we can have text saying, okay, current counter value, okay, and here we can specify the variable name. So we will take how to take the state variable like const in array. First is a variable like count, comma, another is a function to set that particular count. Set count equal to use state. Okay, it will import from the React. And what will be the initial value for counter? It is a number, so we'll say 0. Okay, and here we'll just display the current counter value. Okay, and then we'll have counter value, one button should be there. Okay, we'll take the touchable opacity or button only, no problem. Button, and in button there is a title called count, increase counter. Okay, increase count. Okay, and here on press we need to set like set count. Okay, set count is equal to count current value plus 1. Okay, and just close this, and then export default use state hook. Okay, just try to run this. Let's specify in index.js, just okay, import from src / use state demo. Okay, let's try to run. What is the command? npx react native run Android. Let's see. Forgot to export. You might import a name. So use state and export default. This is correct only. So our UI reflects. So we'll give some style here. I want to give margin top 50 pixel, and then I would like to give align items center and justify content No, we don't, we will not specify the justification. Okay, so let's give a little bit margin here in style only. Margin bottom, margin bottom equal to 20 pixel. Okay, and font weight 600 to display the bold. Okay, so now first we will see without, you know, state variable. Okay, so without state variable, how we can do? We need to define one function increase counter. Okay, so what this function will do, increase the counter value, normal value. Okay, so let's have one counter, okay, is equal to 0. So here counter equal to counter plus 1. Okay, and just alert the counter value. Alert. So current counter value, okay, plus counter. Okay, and here's, instead of this, just try to check once. So increase the counter. Okay, we'll see. Okay, counter value is 1. Here it is coming counter equal to counter plus 1. Now click again, counter value is 2. So variable, counter variable value is increasing, but it's not telling to React to update the UI. So that's the reason. Sorry, we need to specify here also. We'll check, but still it will not reflect. Okay, so see, we are increasing the value, the variable value is increasing, but it's not updating to the React to update the update in UI. Okay, so for that reason this state hooks comes into the picture. So let's comment this and check now. Set count. Okay, or we will do, okay, what we need to do is just set count. Okay, set count plus 1. So it's updating the your state counter value. Okay, now you can say here count and increase the counter, just specify this here. Okay, and here count. Okay, try to run again. Okay, so we have seen the normal variable case, in that the variable count was increasing but was not telling to the React to update the UI. But in case of use state, let's see, if suppose you are increasing the value, it's increasing in UI as well. So it's telling React the count variable value is changing, so that you can re-render the your UI. Okay, so I hope you understand the use of uh, state variable or use state hooks in functional component, React functional component. Okay, so what is the use of use state is to hold a temporary data for that particular component. It's not only the counter, it's for if suppose you are making the API call and coming some data, uh, that data also we can store in the use state. Okay, I hope you the concept of uh, React hooks called useState. This is very important, and commonly and daily life you can your programming life you can use this uh, hook. So have the multiple example, practice the multiple example by using the useState, so that you can understand more. Okay, I hope you like this video. Please like, share, and if suppose you are new to this channel, please subscribe so that you will get such interesting and informative videos. Thank you.